Hi, everybody. Lovely to see folks here in the Zoom room. New friends, old friends. And we hope you feel part of this circle and connection if you're practicing with us on the YouTube channel. Thank you for your practice. Um, hmm. So do check the links below on the YouTube channel. I've put stuff here in the Zoom room chat for the references for tonight's talk and practice. We'll see what practice arises. Uh, this is inspired by an Instagram post shared. The artwork is, I've put the link below, is from at Dev the Pineapple. Um, I think she uses she pronouns. Apologies. We'll just say they in case they don't. Um, they have wonderful art and motivating social action posts. So you might check out their page if you're on the gram on Instagram. And I'll just read this quote first, and then I had to do a little more digging to explore the source, etc. Ah, so there's in the Instagram post, there's a beautiful image of a simple hand-drawn candle with a flame that's flickering, just one candle. And then the text is written out, and there's a voiceover as well from a voice actor, I guess. I don't even know if they're a voice actor, so why is that being said? Someone's doing voiceover. There you go. And it says, a man stood outside the White House with a single protest candle every night during the Vietnam War. A reporter came to him one night and said, Sir, do you really believe your little candle will change anything? And he said, Oh, I don't come here to change them, meaning the government, the state, the government. I come here so they don't change me. Beautiful. I will not allow the steady, maddening onslaught of insanity to wear down my humanity. I will keep knowing the truth and telling the truth. I will do my small part every damn day to stay human, to stay awake and tender, so that the world does not wear away at my humanity. This quote is attributed to Abraham Must, Must, Must. Um, Abraham went by AJ, usually, just the initials, so they're known as AJ. And at the time that he did this vigiling uh, through the Vietnam War, with which some accounts it was hard to track down the actual um, original sighting. Some sightings say it was for years. Um, he did this in his 80s, and I've put the links to his who's did all kinds of amazing nonviolent actions. His real MO was nonviolence. He was born in Holland and came to America when he was 8, and um, stud was in like a very reformed Dutch reform mm, community and became a minister. Eventually, he left that and converted to some a different spiritual religious tradition, and really became radicalized and really active in many important movements and a very important part of the community. So I've put a link to one of his, there's a whole foundation about him, AJ Moost Foundation for Peace and Justice. And they also offer grants. I don't know if they still, yeah, it says to present. So they still do activist work and support. So I've put those links down below in the YouTube channel. So that's some of the citing. The quote on Instagram is different than some of the other ones I found where he actually names the government in this quote. I don't come here to change them, to change the government. I come here so that the government doesn't change me. Um, and these little nuggets to me are exactly like that candle flame, a light in the dark, a light that helps us find our way. And how, for some of us, we may feel at times a sense of futility or hopelessness, or what difference can I make in these times of great suffering. And these people that, boy, in his 80s, every night, just standing there. Sometimes others would join him, often alone with his candle. You know, and we can think, what can I do? What difference can I make in the world? Um, and as he says, I do this so that my heart doesn't become numb. So he didn't say those words, but when he's saying, so that these systems of oppression and regurgitation is the word coming to mind, the systems that are perpetuating systems, he might not have felt that he had the power to change that whole system, but he showed up every night to stand for his values, to speak his truth, even in the silence, in his presence. And as he says, to stay awake and tender. Mwah! So good. Like, what else do we need? To stay awake and stay tender. That's like Dharma in a nutshell. That's the path. Awake and tender. I love that. Oh, I might have to get another tattoo. Awake and tender. I just think that's so simple and profound and transformative in a way that's like revolutionary. To stay awake, to not numb out, to not bury our heads, um, to keep paying attention and to do it with tenderness. This is the path. And what difference does it make to stay awake and stay tender? It makes all the difference. All the difference. As well as all of our other actions, but our heart mind, the chitta heart mind, the state of our heart mind and our intentions inform our words, inform our actions, inform uh, the effect we have in the ripples, in the radiance of the light all around us from our one small flame. it matters. So if you're feeling overwhelm or uncertainty or doubt, hopelessness, um, that's what the systems want us to feel, silenced and futile. That hopefully, light a candle for yourself when you start your meditation, light a candle when times when you're practicing being awake and tender with yourself is where we begin, and all beings. Uh, Hopefully, this is an inspiration that it does matter and makes a difference. The whole path begins with these inner practices of first our sila, our ethics, our values, the the five lay precepts, and and then our wise intention, wise view, which fuel actions and the livelihood and mindfulness and concentration and the whole of the Eightfold Path. Um, so yeah, I love this quote. I find it very touching and inspiring. I come here so they don't change me, so that I don't become numb, so that I don't become angry or full of ill will. Actually, yeah. And then I was started researching a little bit about, was Buddha a pacifist? Oh boy. Well, not exactly. Non-violence, non-harm, non-ill will, absolutely. And there's suttas, which, and maybe I'll do another talk on it, but there's times where I think in one of the similes, there's a description of like, oh, I'm just relating to this right now, but of removing a pebble from a child's throat. You have to hurt them to get the pebble out. So there's times where some degree of harm happens in order to create less suffering. I'm relating this because right now we have a very sick 15-year-old Chihuahua, and he's not eating or drinking and stuff, and we have to give him medication. And it's just like that, removing a pebble from a child's throat because I have to put the pill like into his back of his throat and kind of hold his mouth. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's kind of like that. So, the path is very much about non-harm, non-ill will, not having intention to cause harm, but sometimes some of our actions and even our speech sometimes has some very directness to it, or um, hmm, that's not the right word, but in order to have less suffering in the long run. I feel that's not very articulate, so maybe it's something I'll circle back to in another talk. I was also inspired tonight by a poem from Rosemary Watola Tromer, which I've put the link down below. And she too is also talking about a candle here. This is called What I Know of Love When Times Are Dark. She says, and if you can't find a candle, then light the wick of your wonder. If you can't find your wonder, then now might be a good time to pray. If you don't know how to pray, then perhaps you're doing it right. What do I know of prayer? Only that every prayer that has saved me is a prayer that has found me instead of the other way around. A prayer that comes through me, as if I'm nothing more than flesh in service to prayer. And if there is a candle, then light it. And if there is a candle, ask it to be your teacher. And if there is a candle, notice how far its light can reach. See if you too can touch the world as generously as a candle. Just that far, holding back not even the tiniest measure of love. So beautiful. And this is, to me, really evocative of our whole metta bhavana practice, a loving kindness, cultivation of loving kindness, friendliness, benevolence, goodwill, um, meditation. Like the candlelight that doesn't choose what it shines upon, just radiant in all directions. Metta is often described in this way, like the sun that shines equally on everyone, um, isn't deciding who receives its light and who doesn't. Uh, and mm, this, mm, I'll have to circle back to that. I've booked a meeting with my teacher to unpack the Pali of the Metta Sutta, so I'll be coming back to it um, around this idea of radiance. Sometimes when we talk about radiant metta, people think I am radiating, and they kind of have an energy or a mental state of pushing loving kindness into the world, like radiating it, or it has kind of a pushing quality. And radiating is maybe more like a radiator, like old school, um, an old radiator in a house that's generating inner warmth, and the radiance happens. It's not like a forced air furnace that's pushing out the heat. It's just radiating from what's uh, cultivated internally. So our loving kindness, metta bhavana, is like this. We generate this goodwill, care, attention, as he says, awakeness and tenderness with this heart, body, mind, our most intimate life partner, this self. And the more we can meet ourselves with that care and attention, it has a radiant quality. And the nature of awake awareness, which is boundless spaciousness, emptiness, is already compassionate. So there's these two qualities. There's this inner generation of goodwill that has a radiant quality without distinction and bias and preference. And boundless awake awareness is also loving, caring, awake, and tender. So let's practice. If you have a candle nearby, you might want to get that and light that. Maybe that's helpful for your practice. I think I'm going to grab one. Got one here. I should have said that before, but that would have taken forethought. Hmm. Go. All right. So when you're ready, take your time. If you're getting a candle and to inspire us as we lighten and brighten our own inner hearts and minds. And when you're ready, beginning to settle into your posture. Take your time with that so that you're already beginning with kindness. See if you need any movement or touch or stretch. If you need any other supports to your posture. Giving yourself time to make sure you're as comfortable as you can be as you begin to settle into resting. And we allow for time for the body to just come into stillness and wakefulness. Usually through our day when we're awake, we're pretty rarely still. And when we do bring the body into stillness, perhaps at night, we often are looking for or settling into sleep. So this is already counterculture to practice being still and awake. And as we bring in this aspect of tenderness, we can just start to feel into the muscles of the face and see if there's any tension or contraction or stress in the muscles of the face that could soften or let go a little bit. And then feeling across the muscles of the shoulders and down the neck, seeing if there's any weight that we're carrying in our shoulders that we could let go, as if we're dropping some baggage and letting the hands relax, shoulders drop. And taking a few slightly deeper breaths to see if there's some movement that could be felt through the chest, the ribs, the back, the belly. Especially if these areas have felt tight or rigid from the stress of our day. And after feeling a little bit of movement here, let the breath relax back into a natural breath, the body breathing itself. But inviting some, whatever degree is available of gentle care to the areas of the heart center, the belly center, as we begin and continue settling and relaxing. You might now feel a bit more heaviness, presence, groundedness through the pelvis, legs, and feet. And now we draw in the energy, the strength, your inner core, your uprightness of your spine that is felt as part of our sila, your morality, your values, your backbone. We undertake this life, this practice, this interbeing contract of refraining from causing harm, refraining from taking life. Feel the energy of this interrelatedness as a contract to refrain from taking more than is freely given to us, more than is freely offered. To be aware of our greed or our overconsumption and its impacts. We continue with our wise intentions and actions to refrain from speaking falsely and harmful intentions. The non-violence of our language. We commit to the training to refrain from causing harm with our sensuality and our sexuality. And to not cause harm through a lack of mindfulness or through heedlessness from intoxicants, so that we continue the practice of awakening So feel these values, this sila, as your uprightness, your strength, your inner steadiness. If you find it helpful, you could call in your skillful, onward leading ancestors, chosen ancestors, spiritual ancestors, blood ancestors that have got your back, that have been part of the causes and conditions of your skillfulness here and now. Feel that support at your back. So that we feel embodied in a strong back and soft front to stay awake and tender. And then feeling this sense of this inner flame at your heart center, the chitta, heart mind, like that candle flame, that inner brightness that has an energy of radiance and care and wholesomeness. This onward leading brightness as that, using the words or just the felt experience or the image of care for yourself. This light that is brightening with the aspiration, may I be happy. May I be safe. May I be well. May I be peaceful. Let that light suffuse your heart, body, mind. Awake and tender. Each inhalation brightens that flame, and each exhalation suffusing that throughout your whole being. Awake and tender, just with meeting yourself in this moment, however it is. I don't practice to change them. I practice so that ill will doesn't change me. Greed, hatred, and delusion doesn't change me. This is why we practice. If the mind wanders into sleepiness or restlessness or other worries or spacing out, we just begin again. Just like AJ would go again the next night and begin again. We begin again, come back to that inner aspiration of loving kindness, either the felt experience or using the phrases if it's helpful. May I be happy. May I be safe from inner and outer harm. May I be well in body and mind. May I be peaceful. And then like a radiator, like this candlelight that is radiant without discrimination. Let your awareness expand in all directions, front, side, back, above, below. To whatever degree feels available or accessible. Might just be the space around your body, where it might feel a little bit brighter. As Rosemary says, touch the world as generously as a candle, holding back not even the tiniest measure of love. Doing our small part to stay awake and tender for all beings, with all beings. Just feeling this felt experience, this cultivation of radiant metta, or using phrases if that's helpful. May all beings everywhere be safe, be well, be at peace. feeling your whole body, your whole being, like that lone candle. Until you start to see and feel all the other candle lights all around the world. And if there is a candle, then light it. And if there is a candle, ask it to be your teacher. And if there is a candle, notice how far its light can reach. See if you too can touch the world as generously as a candle, just that far, holding back not even the tiniest measure of love. And in the same way, we offer whatever merit there may be from our practice, from our wise intentions of awakening and tenderness, any benefit, cultivate it. May it be for the freeing of our own hearts and minds and for all beings everywhere. May all beings be free from dukkha. Thank you for practicing with us. Please check the links below to the poetry and the wisdom that was shared um, from AJ and the beautiful art from Dev the Pineapple on Instagram. Thanks for practicing with us.